Hi, hello, it's me. I'm speaking quietly, not because I want to. Well, it is because I want to, but it's also because I'm tired right now, and I feel like if I raise my voice too much, I will be more tired after recording this and won't be able to do the drawing which you will be seeing in this. Um, so, this video, unscripted, probably gonna be mainly unedited aside from maybe a speed paint in the background and maybe some music sped up. We'll see how I feel about that last one. Not sped up. I'm so sorry, I'm completely out of it. This is completely unscripted. This is my full-hearted, honest opinions about fake map parts. Not the ones which people used to do where they used to just kind of test out the concept, see how they felt about this concept and see if other people would be interested, kind of fake map parts. We're talking about the ones that are actually based off real maps that are happening and are currently happening. Just as a warning, this video is going to be a mainly negative review of these map parts which have been coming out recently. So if you don't want to hear that, or if you're a person who quite enjoys the culture of making fake map parts, I'd recommend you don't watch this because it's going to be mainly negative and I don't want to break someone's world down around them. This is just my honest opinion on the subject matter. Regardless, I did still want to discuss it because it's important to me as a person who does map parts. I don't think it's happened to me as of yet, but due to my Maggot Belly map part gaining some popularity in the fandom, I feel like if I get more popular or get into more popular maps, this will become an issue for me. So I wanted to kind of give my opinion on it just in case that ever did happen, because boundaries are key, people. It's amazing how far talking about boundaries will get you. So my opinion on fake map parts is that the way that people used to do them was great. I think it's a really creative way of checking out and seeing if people like the idea that you're putting down on the table, because as I found in the past, if you host a map which has little to no interest, no one's going to be interested enough to fill up the parts, or it's going to take literally months to finish, and at that point the project may as well just be shot dead in the foot from where it starts. So the idea of making fake little... Hi! My cat is yelling at me. The idea of making fake little map parts to test out an idea just to see if people would be interested in seeing it further pushed into a full-on map is a very good idea in my opinion, and it's proven success before for many different people. And I don't know, I like the idea of fake map parts as they used to be. I don't really like how people have changed it now. So my problems with it, actually before I start talking about my problems with it, I'm going to talk about what I like about it. First of all, it's a good way for smaller artists who are just starting out to get their work out there by putting it under a big label map, such as the Bramblefire one that's happening at the minute by Cheetah Z. More people will look up for keyterms like that, like, oh, Bramblefire map part, and your search results for the fake map part will be more likely to come up in the recommended searches when you obviously type in that keyword. This is a good way for smaller artists to be found, for people to get into enjoying their content, to show what they're capable of, stuff like that. My cat is screaming at me. I'm gonna go let her out. Give me a second. Let's see. Okay. It's a good way to have your work seen by potential people who you have applied for map parts with, or to just get your work genuinely seen by the general public. It's a really good way to get that to happen and get that kind of way of producing content flowing. It's really good. it has a good impact, it has good intentions, and I can understand why people are obviously like making fake map parts and putting them under a popular label. Another reason why I think this is a positive thing is because obviously it helps get into the groove of fake map parts, and like it kind of shows like what would you do in this scenario if given the storyboard. Would you follow it completely? Would you add some adjustments? Would you spice it up a little bit to get a good feel for like what the storyboard could be if you had your own personal opinion on it? That's the whole point of storyboards with like map wise, is to place down an idea, see if people like said idea, and see how they would tweak it based on their own personal like preference. And it's always just good to get that outside kind of influence from the person who's doing your map parts for you, is to just give them a plain idea and to let them roll with it, because at the end of the day, people will take artistic liberties even with storyboard maps. No matter how hard you try and push this like agenda, it will happen, which is good. It really does make way for some really good like map pieces, because you'll have the original idea which was made by the person who made the map, and then you'll have the constructive criticism and output of the artist who has said map part, and that is never a bad thing. However, aside from that, you then also have the issue of it. There's a few issues with fake map parts. First of all, let's talk about the actual map participants who have been chosen. Fake map parts don't only discredit the actual animators that have been chosen for these specific parts, chosen by the person who made the map. It's also just a really weird situation where if a person who actually got chosen for the map sees a bunch of different fake parts for their map, they can feel discouraged from working on it, because it gives the opinion that the part that like the wide audience thinks that they could have done a better job than the person who actually received the map part. Even if the map part isn't out yet, seeing so many people doing fake versions of the part which you were given specifically can really take like big hits on your ego, in my opinion, and that's just kind of fucked up. Like, think of it like this, like you were assigned to bake a cake for a celebrity, well, maybe not celebrity, but bake a cake for someone that you knew well and that you were friends with and you know them quite well. Then someone else hears that you're baking a cake for this person and they decide to bake a cake because they think that they can do a better cake than you. You put a lot of hard work and time and blood, sweat and tears into making this cake, but people eventually start looking at other versions of this cake which you made. Even though you all had the exact same blueprints, some people may think that other people's cake may look better than yours. That's really bad, because that creates some kind of competition, and map parts are about bringing the community together to work on something. It's not about competition where there shouldn't be. Not only that, it can also lead the person who's doing the map part to feel like they need to hold themselves to a standard. And if you've got people who are doing these really amazing fake map parts, they'll just push that standard up more and more, and it just becomes so easy to get burnt out like that. Like, it's not healthy. It's not healthy, in my opinion. And yeah, competition is what this community strives off of, animation wise. Like, we'll see someone's animation and we'll be like, oh, I can take in certain aspects of their animation style and turn it into my own, so I can make better content. Because at the end of the day, we are just all fighting for the same attention of a group of people. That's what animation's about. Some of us do it because we like it, some of us do it because that's how we get paid. I'm not part of the latter. Well, I almost am, but I'm not really part of the latter. But I respect the people who do this as a full-time career and job. So outside of the participant problems, there's also the problems that with popular maps, they tend to get a lot more fake parts than not so popular maps made by smaller animators. this is always a weird thing for me to talk about, but I don't think anyone in the Warrior Cats community should be held up on a pedestal like they're some kind of animation god, and like it's weird because at the end of the day we're all animating cats from books made by people who could really care less about the cats in these books. And the idea that we're seeing certain people in the community who's doing just basically what everybody else is doing but in their own funky little way, and just going, hey, they're really popular, I'd like to do a map part because of like the map which they put out because they're popular. It's just, it gives the appeal that their popularity is something that should be kind of noted, and like very duly noted by some people in the Warrior Cats community, but it's something that should be considered when getting into a map or doing a fake map part, because the most map parts come from the most popular maps, obviously, and this is just how things naturally go. But at the same time, it really can also discredit like smaller people who make maps because they can see their map as inferior because they don't have enough fake map parts. And that's just not true, because some of the best ideas come from smaller creators because they aren't the ones that are heard so often. And it's always good to bring like new ideas to the table, especially in a fandom that's this big and has this many old people in it like me who've been reading these books since little tiny fire poles like running around. But I personally just don't agree with these fake map parts. I can't believe this video is more than 10 minutes long. This is stupid. But my personal opinion, on the table, on the record, I don't like fake map parts because I feel like they really can discourage a lot of people. They can really do some damage. This is obviously just coming from my perspective. I'd love to hear what people would like to say on this in the comments. I just hope I don't get bashed for this because I'm bashing smaller creators. I'm not. I do see the positives to fake map parts. I just also see the negatives and how much that can just affect and break certain people. It's not a fun experience. I think people would much prefer if you just did the way that we used to do fake map parts. Grab some old songs, slap maybe crow feather or leaf pool on top of some old love songs and make a fake map part out of that. I don't know. I just don't think that kind of making fake map parts that of existing maps is that good at all, because of how just toxic it can come off, or like how toxic it can be. I don't agree with it. I'm honestly starting to get a little tired talking about this, so if the speed paint's not done, I'll probably just end the voiceover here and just let you watch that all the way through and then show the image at the end. But that pretty much concludes my opinions overall on fake map parts. I'm sorry if it's not the opinion you were expecting. I don't care. It's my opinion. In the nicest way, I do not care. We're all entitled to our own opinions, and if you have a different one than me, I'm willing to hear it. I'm willing to hear you out, and I'm willing to hear you talk about it into the comments, because I will probably read every single negative or positive one that will be put in there, because I'm interested in what other people have to say about this. Obviously, I'm not the only British Warrior Cats fan with an opinion, so I'm very interested in seeing what other people want to say about this, because it's just a weird new concept in the Warrior Cats fandom, and it definitely wasn't around back when I first started animating for this fucking shit show. But yeah, I would love to hear what people have to say on this, and if you want to hear more videos about me ranting about stupid things in the community or in the books, also let me know that as well, because I am more than willing to sit in front of my mic for about 15 minutes and just talk. But yeah, thank you for listening. I don't have an outro, but I'll see you in the next video that I do where I'm talking to myself in my room at midnight. See ya!
What the dog doing?